Well, good day, Esther.
Thank you very much. The pleasure is shared.
Thank you. You are the Executive Director of Reach Out Cameroon, an organization you've been with for nearly 30 years. You're on the forefront of mediation. You started a movement, a task force, Northwest and Southwest, right? Task force. You live in Cameroon, you work there, and you also decided to do the certified mediation training with the International Mediation Campus. What made you decide that?
The need for continuous learning, because every conflict has its uniqueness in terms of perspectives, in terms of dynamics. So I thought that I should improve my knowledge and skills in this domain. That is what made me get into more learning for this certified course.
Is there anything in that course that was particularly good for you? Something where you said, wow, these are good practical tips. It's something I can use in my daily work. What stood out for you?
Within the course of my learning, I came to discover that knowledge was limited. And what I got from there was the practical sessions, the role plays, and also the tools given to us to carry on to play our mediation role very well.
What kind of mediation do you do today? Do you want to talk to us a little bit about your work?
Yes. I will first of all say I started at a very early age doing mediation without knowing that was mediation, because of my love to foster peace, empathy for others, the need for justice and equity within our family. I come from a very highly patriarchal structure where male dominance is common sense and is commonplace, and where women do not have a say. And many times there were always conflicts between my parents and also between my father and family members, or my father and my elder sister. So I got into this, always being the person facilitating dialogue, trying to balance communication between both parties, either my father and my elder sister, who wanted to get married, but who refused to get married to the person she wanted to get married to, or to family members who will come for dowries and other things, and who will finally end up being confrontational to one another. So I started doing it in a very early age. And today, I'm involved in community mediation. I do family mediation, I do group mediation, and I try to mediate between parties of the Anglophone crisis between government and non-state armed groups. I also do mediation at workplace. We have so many collaborators, and there are many things that usually go wrong, which needs my intervention.
Have you, with your work, have you seen a change in the last 10 to 20 years in how women are seen in Cameroon, how empowered they are or not? Can you see that mediation and the setting of dialogue has also created a change that you can feel and see?
Yes, as I said earlier, ours is a patriarchal structure, deeply rooted in the old standing traditional norms. And usually women are considered as second place, playing the ever secondary role when men are concerned. And so we need to fight our way through. We need to assert ourselves in order to be accepted or respected. And what I saw in the past few years, I will not go too far, is that there has been some progress, especially with the advent of Resolution 1325, especially with the Women, Peace and Security agenda, which is causing more awareness for women to play the pride, to take the pride of place which is theirs, that is having a voice, a say in daily routine affairs of their families, of their communities, of their country. When it comes to the Anglophone conflict, women were never peace builders. We never had mediators. There was need to begin somewhere. And that somewhere started with the voices, which I created within my organization, bringing these women together so that we start articulating issues of the conflict. We did that without so much know-how, using some past experiences to pass on the gift to women. But thank God, with other international partners, UN Women and other people, and we started looking at it, learning, and then having partners who will drill us. I had to join the women mediators across the Commonwealth, who started giving us the ABCs of mediation. This is, and then you have the Office of the UN Political Affairs and Peace Building, which also trained me on women in ceasefire. And then all this were harnessed and fine-tuned by IMC National Mediation Campus.
You have an enormously deep and insightful experience into so many different aspects of mediation and dialogue creation and peacemaking. And it's wonderful to hear that the course you decided to do with us also gave you the tools and a little bit of an edge and a ruthlessness, as you said, to go after achieving your goals, not just yours, but also those of all the members that are part of the Reach Out Cameroon organization and your task force. And I imagine it's also transgenerational what you are doing, because how you are as adult women and how you negotiate conflicts is certainly also seen by the children, right? If you talk about family mediation.
Exactly, but please come again.
I imagine with family mediation and all the work you are doing, also with all the women you are training and enabling to resolve conflicts and see themselves different in their role, that also shows the children that there is a new way of living together. Have you seen any change there yet in the new generation?
Exactly. So while we carry on the job learning, doing what has been passed on to us, our children, the younger generation students, the youths also get to copy from us. And the reason why we decided to get engaged in peace clubs within schools, the reason why we did that is because there's so much going on in my country with regards to students-teachers relationship. So many teachers have been stabbed, killed in recent times. Students have wounded their peers, and disorder going on within the school milieu and even among the youth. We see youth every day fighting elites. At times I sleep at 3 a.m. because I want to cause engagements and dialogue to see that peace is achieved between youths and the elites or leaders of their communities. Why do we create peace clubs? It's so that the teachers and the children can learn how to resolve conflicts among themselves, even before external people, external partners will come in. We did so much of drilling. We did so much of role plays so that they will understand the ABCs in terms of practice, knowledge. And they have been doing that. Now, it surprises that 2 students are fighting in school today. You see the other students are not even going to the teacher. They go to the other students they know that are in the peace clubs to come and resolve the issue. And when these children come, or this youth come, now they start facilitating between the two. This is a new generation of peace mediators that we are breeding. This is a new generation of future mediators that we are molding. And it is not only for the youth. We do that even with community women. Those women who are often neglected or forgotten, I call them our heroines, the who are the forgotten voices. We've been doing that even with them.
I absolutely love sustainability you're bringing into all of your work. It's not just to resolve immediate conflicts and to own conflict resolution. I can hear quite clearly there's a lot of training and passing on of skills at school level in communities with women who are voiceless or have been voiceless. And I imagine you'd be doing that in different languages, French, English, Pidgin.
Yes, in the course of empowering others and equipping them with skills and knowledge on mediation so that they can carry out constructive dialogue, we have to consider the context where we find ourselves. Here we talk about cultural competence. We have to understand the culture of the people. Do they speak English? Do they speak French? Do they speak the lingua franca, which other people call, which is like Creole? Do they speak that? So we agree to work with them using the language which is best known to them. Now, if they say we prefer Pidgin, we go by Pidgin. If they say we prefer English, we go by English. When we meet those who do not speak English, and it is French, we go using French. And but beyond this, where it is most often challenging, is when you meet people who will not fall within these three. The normal lingua franca, which everybody knows, English or French, who can only speak their dialect. That is where we get challenged. And that's where we have to be creative, innovative, and see how maybe we can make this flow using the natural or close to the people know-how. What do I mean by that? I mean that then we need to look for somebody who now becomes our voice in mediation, even though this will be very challenging, which ought not even to be, but this person becomes our voice at that time. And this has helped us resolve so many conflicts in places where people do not speak the languages which we speak, like English, French, or the Pidgin, which we often speak.
I see there are cultural barriers and language barriers. However, what do you do when there is a communication barrier? By that I mean people who are parties to a conflict do not want to talk, or they don't understand why they should even resolve a conflict.
You cannot resolve a conflict when people do not understand each other. The essence of resolving conflict is to establish common ground where people learn to talk to each other and where they learn to let go at some point. And this cannot happen if you do not have a mastery of that language of the people. But in the course where that is absent, as I said, we look for the invisible face, which becomes my voice, meaning that I will look within that context. Somebody who masters so well the language of the people, not only the language, but somebody within that community who understands the culture of the people, so that he or she will guide me, first of all, will walk me through the culture of the people to erase all other barriers except that of language. And a language will be the only thing which that person will be brought on board to help me facilitate the process. That is said exactly in my own words. That's what I call the invisible face. I am the face, which the people see, which has established trust and confidence, but using somebody else's voice to speak in my own words, using their language. That is what I do.
That is a really beautiful description and a new metaphor. I haven't heard it before from anyone, this invisible face. So thank you for explaining your work practically. Yeah, no, really, really nice. When you participated in a course, you were together with many other internationals. You know, often we are from many different countries when we join a course at IMC. Was there anyone that you could relate to, that you're still in touch with? Are you networking with alumni of your course?
Oh, yes. We were first of all, I will first begin with Cameroon. We first of all had 2 Cameroonian ladies. We were not working together. One of them even was so, I'm sorry to say, was a little bit distant from me, but as a result of the course, we became much closer and established that connection, because I believe one thing in mediation is about establishing connections. In the days ahead, we're going to carry out focus group discussions in Cameroon with key stakeholders, international organizations, UN systems, the government, religious, traditional, the youth, the women, and blah, 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 to find out why the 2 previous processes of mediation failed. Why did the Swiss-led mediation process fail? Why did the Canadian talks fail? So this is as a result of IMC, which brought us together. I was called by the UN systems, by the UN, to come and help with UNDP facilitate a session which they were having on peace building and mediation for women leaders here at the capital city. And because of doing that, the issue of mediation arose. And there was need for us to demonstrate what mediation is all about and do some role plays, what mediation is, what negotiation is. I met with one recently in Brussels at April, where we were talking about mediation practices in Brussels. And we heard and we're like trying to exchange notes where we are today, what we've been doing. So we try to share experiences. And then in one other time, I met with one I'm just from one country, and we met in Nairobi. And so I've been in touch with not just one, but 1, 2, I think 3 or 4 former participants of IMC. And this comes to consolidate the fact that what IMC taught us about when it comes to mediation in terms of connection, you must keep, you must create, you must keep, you must connect, you must keep those connections.
It'd be lovely if one day I envisage we could have personal meetups in Yaoundé or in Nairobi or in Brussels, wherever it may be, right? But I'm glad to hear that you made friends with the other 2 Cameroonian women and that you got so far together, also speaking at UN events. What I would love to ask you, Esther, is we have about 20 to 30 people from around the world right now doing the International Mediation Campus course, the same that you did. What would you tell them if you could speak to them?
The very first thing is that they should get quickly into that spirit of a mediator when they are with IMC. They should be given to they should be open to continuous learning when it comes to IMC. And when it comes to IMC, they should focus on impact, that is the results. And they should be ready to adapt and persevere throughout the course. It's not easy. So they should be able to persevere, adapt, and then open their minds to continuous learning, not giving up, focusing on the impact. What is the impact? What do I have to achieve? What do I want to achieve by the end? I want to gain that knowledge. I want to gain these skills. I want to know what it is. And then I also want to impact others. This is what I can tell them. And above all, where some of us are failing, they should build relationships within IMC, because experience sharing is going to quickly sharpen their understanding of what they are called to do.
It's a wonderful, wonderful tips.
And if I have to add, I will say, I talked about open to learning. What I mean is that they should quickly develop new skills.
And you're the best example. Look at you. You were outdoors. You managed to find your driver. You got all the way to a teleconference room. You figured out your phone. You got the background image. And before we conclude, I'd love to ask you, Esther, is there anything else you want to say that we can use for our recording?
We should form a community of practice. We who have been trained already by IMC, where we can meet quarterly online, and while scouting for funding to also meet physically. Why not? It would be something wonderful.
Thank you, Esther, so much for an absolute wonderful chat this afternoon.
I'm the one thanking you for persevering. That's one of the qualities of a mediator. You people persevered. I'm so happy.